Greetings, viewers. This is going to be a slightly different episode than normal. We're not going to be reviewing a single pen. We're going to be reviewing 5. And the one common denominator that these pens all have in common is these are pens that I got for free. They're always pens that I got for free due to making another purchase. So it's sort of buy this, get this free. So we'll go over each of the circumstances under which I obtained the pen for free. Another thing they actually all have in common is I do believe that they were all made in India. So we're going to go through each of these, and I guess let's just get right to it. The first pen we're going to talk about is an Oliver 47R. 3 of the pens that I'm going to be reviewing today are the Oliver brand. They all came from Ranga pens. So I have a whole bunch of handmade ebonite pens that I ordered from Ranga pens in India, and what they always do is throw a bonus pen in the box. And over the course of the years that I've been buying pens to them, I've gotten 3 different types of free pens, and so we're going to be seeing each of those 3, and they're all from this brand Oliver. So this one is an Oliver 47R. It is a pull to uncap pen. It is has an ink window, which is nice. This is an eyedropper filled pen. Actually, 4 out of the 5 pens I'm going to show you today are eyedropper filled pens. That is one thing they have in common. This one has a hooded nib, and it is the only hooded nib of the bunch. It has this nice brush steel cap. It's around the cap, it just simply has Oliver etched on here, and it has a fairly nice clip, and it has a little jewel on top that matches the body of the pen. So all in all, pretty nice. And like I said, this unscrews right here, and it's an eyedropper filler. Fairly typically sized pen, as you can see, pretty much spot on here with a Lamy Safari and a Pilot Metropolitan. Kind of average to lightweight for a pen like this, weighs 13 grams. And we'll see how it writes in a minute when I do all the writing samples. Next pen up is a Noodlers Charlie. This pen is the pen you get for free when you buy the large 4.5 ounce eyedropper filling bottles of Noodlers ink, such as if you buy the big bottle of Heart of Darkness, big bottle of Bay State Blue, etc. They throw in a free pen. The free pen they've thrown in has varied over the years. When I bought the bottles that I had, they were throwing in this Charlie pen, which I believe is still the pen that they use now. This is also, I believe, an Indian-made pen. It has the word Charlie engraved on the side of the barrel. It has Noodlers inks on the other side. It says Noodlers ink on the clip. The coloring on the cap comes in different colors, I believe. So they're not all like this. They vary the different colorations of the material that they use here. It is a screw to uncap, takes 1 3/4 turns to unscrew. It does posts pretty nicely, and it is a very light pen, only 9 grams. The nib says Noodlers Ink Company on the nib. It's a steel nib, and it does have an ebonite feed, which is very nice. And it's it's a very, very light pen. So, some people just don't like light pens, so you may have a problem with that. But other than that, nice little pen. And of course, the price is right, as they say. Here it is compared to a Lamy Safari and a Pilot Metropolitan. As you can see, it's just a tiny bit shorter than these pens. Okay, next one up is a Fountain Pen Revolution Muffed. This pen, Fountain Pen Revolution, which is an American company that sells Indian-made pens, normally sells this pen for $7, but if you make a purchase over a certain amount, they throw one in for free, and that's how I got this one. It is a demonstrator, eyedropper-filled pen. Average weight for a pen like this weighs 12 grams, and it's a unscrewed cap, takes 1 1/2 turns to unscrew, posts nicely, post comfortably, etc. These threads here in the step down are nothing really so to speak of. It is a comfortable pen. It has a fairly generic nib that is simply labeled iridium point, and it does have what appears to be a ebonite feed, which again, very, very nice. And there you go, the Muffed from Fountain Pen Revolution. Next pen is a pen called the Oliver exam pen. This is another pen from that I got from Ranga. That's of the Oliver brand. This is the only one that's not an eyedropper filler. This is a piston filler pen. If the clip looks familiar, it should. It's the exact same clip that's on the Fountain Pen Revolution Muffed pen. This clip seems to attach to the top of the cap by threading the top. There basically looks like there's threads on the top of the cap that the clip attaches to. That's the same case in both pens. This is a well-working piston mechanism here that works quite well. This weighs 13 grams and it takes 1.5 turns to unscrew. And again, size-wise, not a huge pen. Again, pretty much right in the ballpark with a Lamy Safari and a Pilot Metropolitan. And it posts nicely, posts comfortably, and the nib is branded from Oliver. It says Oliver 100% steel, and then it says BCO. I haven't seen a nib that actually bragged about its steel content before, which I think this is kind of cute, so that's nice. And it does have what looks to be a hand-cut ebonite feed there, which again, very, very nice. Demonstrator pen, nicely made, and we'll see how it writes shortly. The last pen is also from Oliver, and this again I got from Ranga. This is the heaviest pen of the bunch, weighs 16 grams. This is the Oliver Model 503. It's it's the heaviest because it's got a steel jacket around the cap, which looks pretty nice actually. I kind of like the way this looks. Simply has Oliver etched around the bottom end of the cap. Has a nice functional clip. Size-wise, again, fairly typically sized pen, just a tiny bit smaller than a Lamy Safari and a Pilot Metropolitan. And it weighs 16 grams, like I said, and takes 2 full turns to open the cap. Does post well and has the identical nib and feed that the previous pen, the Oliver exam pen, had. The one with the, talking about 100% steel and what looks to be a hand-cut ebonite feed. The section is quite long and has a couple little notches in it here, which is interesting. Again, you don't really feel those. The section is matte finish as opposed to the body of the pen, which is gloss, so it actually is very, very comfortable to hold, and you can hold it in different places. It has a little lip, a lip around the end, etc. So it seems to be a pretty nice, comfy pen to hold. And again, eyedropper filled pen, like all of them, with the exception of this Oliver exam pen. So that is our pens for today in terms of seeing what the pens look like. But of course, pens were meant to write. And you're probably wondering, how do these pens write? We're going to find that out right now. Okay, before we actually get to the writing, we're going to talk about the ink. I have the exact same ink in all of these pens today. So this is Parker Quink Washable Blue. So this is about as basic blue ink as you can get. So we could focus on how the pens write and not worry too much about some crazy colored ink, etc. So this is about as generic an ink as there is. Parker Quink Washable Blue. Okay, the first pen out of the gate that we're going to be writing with is the Oliver 47R. Again, this nib is unlabeled, but I would call this a fine, and the nib is steel. I might even call this an extra fine, depending upon your mood. It is quite fine, but it is actually quite smooth. I'm at very, very little feedback. Writes quite nicely. I'm very, very pleasantly surprised with how smooth and nicely this pen writes. I'm not a huge fan of pens this fine, but if you have to write one this fine, this is really, really nice. Little, average wetness, I'd say, for this size nib, but again, a nice writer. That's the Oliver 47R. Okay, next up is the Noodlers Charlie. So this is the Noodlers Charlie. Also a steel nib. And again, about the same. I'd say this is a fine, bordering on extra fine. Very similar writing experience, I'd say, to this 47R. It's smooth, and it seems to flow well. Very, very, very nice. No complaints. And again, can't beat the price. You're going to be hearing that a lot on this video. Eyedropper filled pen, just like the one before it. Free pen from Noodlers, the Noodlers Charlie. Okay, next up is the Fountain Pen Revolution Muffed. So this is the FPR Muffed. This is also a fine nib for sure, bordering on extra fine. It's a bit wetter than these other ones, so I'd say this is a bit wetter. But again, smooth and just a nice, pleasurable pen to write with. Not getting any complaints here at all. Very, very nice. Again, they charge $7 for this pen normally. I would absolutely say it's worth the $7 if you're looking to buy this pen. I wouldn't say this is not worth $7, but it certainly can't beat the price when it's free. The next one up is the only eyedropper filled pen in the bunch. This is the Oliver Exam pen. Also a fine. Probably just as smooth as the others. Not quite as wet as the Muffed, but the Muffed was definitely probably of the wettest of all of them. But again, smooth, pleasurable writing. Definitely like what I'm seeing here. Again, cannot beat the price. That is the Oliver Exam pen. Okay. Last up is, let's find a little space on the paper, there we go, is the Oliver 503. This was the heaviest pen of the bunch, mainly because of the steel cladding on the cap. Doesn't feel back-weighted though, very comfortable, and I really like the section on this pen. It's got this sort of matte finish. It's got this lip here. It's got a nice taper to it. I really like the section on this one. So this is the this one is the Oliver 503. This is probably the wettest of them all. Also has the exact same nib as the pen that preceded it, the Exam, but this one is just has a bit more feedback, but it's feedback that I like. Not scratchy or anything anything like that. Just a nice writing experience with sort of a pleasurable amount of feedback. But again, this has the exact same nib as the one, nib and feed as the one before it, but this one is a bit writing, definitely considerably wetter. But you know, like I said, you can. There's going to be a lot of variance with pens like this, so you could end up with this exact same pen at home and have a completely different experience than I have. But again, you could obviously, these are inexpensive pens. You could play around and tune the nibs to your heart's content without doing too much damage. So there we go. Wow. So all in all, I'd say we got a pretty nice bunch of free pens here. Obviously, most of them are of the Oliver brand. They're all, I believe, made in India, which I think is kind of an interesting, somewhat of a coincidence, I guess. Well, not such a coincidence if you think about it. Fountain Pen Revolution pretty much sells Indian pens exclusively. Ranga obviously is an Indian company, so it shouldn't be that surprising that most of these pens are from India. But all in all, I've had a very good experience writing with these, and like I said, you don't just goes to prove you do not have to spend hundreds or thousands or even tens of dollars to get a great pleasurable writing experience with a pen. Sometimes they come for just a few dollars and sometimes they come for free. In any case, I think that will do it for the video for this week. I certainly hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. As always, please subscribe if you're not already doing so. Please keep those comments coming. Please keep the thumbs up coming. And as always, until I see you again, have a great day. Bye-bye.